Hello and welcome back to the cricket draft, where the biggest day on the domestic cricket calendar is finals day. It's tomorrow, it's Edgbaston, it's in Birmingham, and we've got four of the best T20 sides going head to head to fight for that coveted trophy. My name is Dan Jadzovics, not joined by Dan Weston this week, but we're going to run through some advice, some tips, some tactics, some key players ahead of that finals day. The key questions that we want to know from yourselves is, what is your tactics for finals day? Are you going all in on two teams, all in on one team? Are you spreading your players around? Are you investing in high value all-rounders? What are you doing with your bench? These are the questions that we would like to know from the cricket draft. How are you setting your team up? We'll go through some available tactics. I'm going to share with you my team as well. We're going to have a look back at the quarterfinals to start this episode off. We're going to start back on Wednesday when the Steelbacks travelled down to London to take on Surrey. And it was the man that has played in every edition of the T20 Blast since its inception, Ravi Bopara, who stole the show and the headlines. He scored 105. He picked up 328 cricket draft points. For those of you that had him in the team, what a phenomenal performance. Saw the Steelbacks beat Surrey and book their spot for the fifth time at finals day. They'll be looking for their third trophy to add to that one from 2013 and 2016. There were contributions, great contributions to be fair, from Sam Kerr and Jordan Clark and Ollie Pope. But if you had those guys in your team, you're going to need to be looking elsewhere for finals day. And who would you replace them with? Some great questions here, and good luck to you that are building your teams up. Then we headed up to Durham, and it was Durham versus Hampshire, and this was a run fest, wasn't it? Hampshire batted first. They scored 221 for 8. Three of their top four all scoring 50s. Toby Albert, Chris Lynn and Hilton Cartwright saw them all pick up 130 plus points from that game. Durham, they managed 195 for 6 in the end. There was resistance, a bit of contribution from Ollie Robinson with 60 off 33. But look, Hampshire players are on your shopping list looking ahead to finals day. Then Old Trafford, Lancashire versus Kent. This was just the Liam Livingstone show, wasn't it? What a ridiculous performance this was. 311 points for fantasy players. What a great decision it would have been had you have captained him that week. 85 off 45 with the bat, and then 2 for 21 with the ball in hand as well. It's going to be hard not to give him the captain's armband for finals day, isn't it? Surely, particularly if you think Lancashire are going to make it through their semi-final and play the final as well. 2 games of Liam Livingstone with captaincy points. Feels like a great option. Finally, Somerset versus the Birmingham Bears. And well, it wouldn't feel like a finals day, would it, if Somerset weren't there? They must have almost a timeshare in the hotel that is around the corner from Edgbaston. The amount of time that Somerset have spent there in Septembers over the last couple of years. They beat the Birmingham Bears. It was Sean Dixon that got Somerset over the line. He scored 19 off the final over, finishing 71 off just 26 deliveries and scoring 266 points for those that have picked him. He's got to be a great option, isn't he? A great option and a great shout for those of you that are looking for players that could play both games. Sean Dixon at a great price as well. It was vintage Blast. There was carnage everywhere, and we're hoping for a little bit more up at Birmingham tomorrow. Just a quick note to encourage you to subscribe to this YouTube channel. We've been working incredibly hard on this content over the last 9 months, 12 months even, if you think about going back to the Big Bash. And it would be great to have you here as part of that journey. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe and only takes a matter of seconds to hit that button to subscribe to this channel. We're aiming to get 1,000 subscribers before the end of the domestic summer. So it would be a huge help if you're not subscribed, just to drop us a little note there and subscribe to the channel. Maybe share this with friends that are enjoying the cricket draft, that are playing the games that you're currently beating in your league. See if they can pick up any advice or tips from not only myself, but a professional cricket analyst in Dan Weston when he resumes his role here on the channel. There's some really good stuff going on here. Now, tactics for finals day. The way we've put it together, we think there's 3 ways that you can go. There's a hyper-aggressive way, there's a pretty defensive way, and there's obviously a way just kind of in the middle there. A nice kind of middling route there. But anyway, No risks. Maybe you're in a really good position in your league. Maybe you've got a good lead and you're not looking to go past your mates, past your teammates, past your friends, or climb the overall league. Maybe you're happy with where you are. If that's the case, you probably want to look to pick up 2 to 3 players from each of the 4 teams that are going to be playing there on finals day. Therefore, you get 2 semi-finals, and you will, whichever way the games fall, you will end up with a couple of players playing in the final for both sides, regardless of the success of the players that you have, and you'll get double chance. So we'll get an extra chance to score some more points. Perfect, simple, brilliant. All you need to do that way around, you'll end up with 6 to 7 players, 4, 5, 6, 7 players in the final, and you'll do okay that way around. Hyper aggressive. Maybe that's the way you need to go. Maybe you need to catch your teammates. Maybe you need to catch your friends. Maybe you've got ground to make up. Maybe you're shooting for top spot overall, and you need to take a risk. If that's the case, if you're a risk taker, and I like this tactic a lot, pick the 2 teams that you think are going to make the final, back those players, back those teams, and invest heavily in your 11 for those 2 teams. They both win their semi-finals. You get a full squad for the final later on in that evening, and you get a huge amount of points from the day, which obviously those that take option 1 wouldn't be able to get hold of. However, your 2 teams that you think are going to reach the final don't make the final, you have no points from the final. There's the risk, there's the reward. And finally, option number 3. And this is a bit more of a hedge bet, but you're going for the majority from 2 teams. So you're going to pick your 2 teams, you think they're going to make the final, that's the way you want to go, and that's the way that it makes sense to do so. But you have a couple of players from the other side just to make sure. Now, those couple of players from the other side, they're not the fringe players. They're not the guys that have limited roles. These are the big box office, high match involvement players, the all-rounders, the massive run scorers, the legends of the Blast. And you have those players in there, and then you get them to play in the final if, of course, your tactic for the 2 teams don't work out that time around. That's another very good tactic. I would love to hear from you as to who you think is going to make the final, which 2 teams are going to go for, and I'd also like to know, as I said earlier in the video, which of these 3 tactics, or unless maybe you've got a 4th tactic, that's another way to go for it. Captain's choice. Hey, you can't look much further than Liam Livingstone, can you, as I spoke earlier today. David Willey would be another fantastic option. They're both going to be really highly owned, and they're both going to be really highly captained as well. So take that as you will. It might not be the best idea for you, probably going to guarantee you some points. However, there will be some cricketers out there that will have a high match involvement, that will have a lower ownership rate and a lower captaincy rate. Someone like Ben Green at Somerset or Benny Howell at Hampshire, both high match involvement all-rounders, both will be in key fielding positions, both will bowl 4 overs, both will probably bat. They're good options for you if you want to look slightly left field. Penalty transfers. Now, we say a lot, don't we? The shortest format of the game, 75 points, is a lot to recoup over the course of 40 overs. So, if you don't need to make them, probably don't make them. I wouldn't make them for the sake of making it. However, if you need to, you're looking for those high impact, big match involvement players. If you're going to make a penalty transfer and you're going to bring in a Ravi Bopara or a Liam Livingstone or a Ben Green or something like that, absolutely go for it. That is the way to go. Also, your bench. If you can, get as much money and as much value in your starting 11 as possible, particularly if you think those 11 players are all going to play for those 4 sides. Don't worry about the bench. Get the cheap options on there and stack your starting 11 with gun cricketers. Now, some players that have been made unavailable. There is an England series going on at the moment. Hampshire will be without Liam Dawson, Somerset without Tom Banton, Lancashire, Josh Buttler, Saki Mahmood, Phil Salt. They are all involved with that England white ball series going on at the moment, and we suspect they won't be available on Saturday. Australians, well, Riley Meredith set the trend. He was called back to Australia ahead of their domestic season from Somerset, so he won't be available. We've also become aware that Hilton Cartwright, Riley Meredith, Ashton Turner won't be available for their respective county sides. And we've just seen as well that Matt Bretsky won't be around for Northamptonshire for finals day, but Tim Robinson and Lloyd Pope will be. Bjorn Fortune will be available for Hampshire. as will Chris Lynn. So they are the players that you will be able to get for your overseas players, but it looks like you could be looking for domestic picks. Finally, most signed players, unsurprisingly, Liam Livingstone at nearly 10% at the top of the list. Toby Albert, a fantastic bargain option for Hampshire to get in one of those batters. Chris Lynn as well, who will be available. Sean Dixon, who we spoke about. Lewis Gregory, one of those high match involvement all-rounders. Well, there's your notes. There's my advice to you from the cricket draft as to how you can go about and target and tackle finals day here on the cricket draft. Good luck.